Welcome to this week's Teacher Devotion. Today, the title of my devotion is Go and Make Disciples. In Matthew 28:19, it says, "Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you." As a teen, I feared that God would call me to be a missionary to Africa, where I would be forced to eat monkey meat and wormy rice. And in my 20s, as I matured and grew closer to God, I committed my entire life to God, and I told Him that I would even go to Africa if that was His will for my life. Well, He'd never sent me to Africa. At least He hasn't yet. I told this story to my Bible class, using it as an illustration of committing your life completely to Christ. I explained how I became willing to do anything for Christ when I understood that He only does good in my life. As I matured, I realized that doing God's will would bring me the greatest contentment, even if it meant going to Africa. And I explained to my students that they could trust God to direct their lives. A young teen attended my Bible classes from grades 7 through 12. Her love for the Lord was obvious, and I knew that God had great plans for her life. After her graduation, she entered Bible college, and she took several missionary trips overseas. After one of her trips, she met me to share the exciting things that happened in her life. She had visited several countries and taught about Jesus. And then she said, "Mrs. Wyrick, remember how you said you were willing to go to Africa if God wanted you to go? Well, you went to Africa." I looked at her puzzled. "You went to Africa through me," she said. "I taught all the things that you taught me in Bible class. I could hear your words coming through me as I taught. So God really did send you to Africa. I just went for you." The truth of her statement astounded me. Luke 6:40 says, "Who is a student who is fully trained will be like his teacher." You are to go into the world, your classrooms, and you are to make disciples of your students. Teach them to obey God's truth, and let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven, according to Matthew 5:16. The things you plant in your student's heart will sprout, and it will bring a harvest in God's timing. Don't ever be weary in well-doing. You have no idea how far the seeds you plant will go out into the world. Our prayer for this week is, Dear God, thank you for the opportunity to teach children. Keep me humble and near to you at all times, so I can reflect your light. May I follow you close enough that others will want to follow you too. Thank you for joining me this week. I pray that your week has been blessed, and I pray that the following weeks will be blessed as well.